Today's topic, inguinal canal and hernia. You can see here in this region there is a inguinal region, right and left iliac fossa. In the right and left iliac fossa there is a inguinal canal at the meeting point of the anterior abdominal wall and the thigh region. And this is the inherent weakness in the anterior abdominal wall in the groin caused by the changes that occur during the development of the gonads. Both the descent of the testes and ovary from their initial position high in the posterior abdominal wall. A peritoneal outpouching is formed and protruding through the various layers of the anterior abdominal wall. So this is the inguinal canal. You can see here this is the deep inguinal ring and this is the superficial inguinal ring, and it is spermatic cord. Enter into the deep inguinal ring and comes out from the superficial inguinal ring and reaches up to the scrotal region. So first we discuss about the descent of the testes and development of the inguinal canal. The inguinal canal created in the intrauterine life during the descent of the gonads. In male, the testes are pulled down from the abdominal cavity to the scrotum via the passage in the lower abdominal wall, and this passage is formed inguinal canal. And you can see here number 1, this is the gubernaculum, number 2 penis, and 3 inguinal canal. This is the inguinal canal region, and number 4 is the testes, number 5 is the peritoneal cavity, and number 6 is deferens duct. So a fibrous strand called the gubernaculum attached at the lower pole of the testes, and this which develop in the lumbar region of the posterior abdominal wall of the embryo and extend up to the labioscrotal swelling attached from here. And this yellow arrow showing the location of the protrusion of the peritoneum and the beginning of the testicular descent into the inguinal canal. In this diagram, it is showing the descent of the testes. So at the 3rd and 6th month, 3 to 6 months, the testes lies just near the deep inguinal ring, 3 to 6 months, and at the 7th and 8th month, it remains in the inguinal canal. The peritoneal pouching, this yellow arrow showing the peritoneal pouch called the processus vaginalis. It originates through the abdominal wall and following the course of the gubernaculum. This vaginal process lengthens and gubernaculum becomes shortened, and it helps in the descent of the testes in the scrotum along with the ductus deferens and the vessels. In the 9th month of the intrauterine life, testes reaches up to the scrotal region. Therefore, the inguinal canal is formed by the passage of the gubernaculum and the processus vaginalis, which drags the layers of the abdominal wall after their passage through the canal. After the testes reaches the scrotum, the gubernaculum becomes reduced in size, and this processus vaginalis around the testes forming the tunica vaginalis, and this canal is developed. This is the inguinal canal through which the descent of the testes in the male and round ligament of the uterus in the female. So this is how inguinal canal develops. Now the inguinal canal we can discuss in this topic: introduction, boundary, content, mechanism of the inguinal canal, and applied aspect of the inguinal canal. Introduction of the inguinal canal. What is the inguinal canal? Number 1, it is an oblique intermuscular passage that lies just above the medial part of the inguinal ligament. Direction, it is directed downward and medially. The length of the inguinal canal is the 4 centimeter in length. 4 centimeter in length, and this is the deep inguinal ring, and this is the superficial inguinal ring. So it extends from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. And this deep inguinal ring lies lateral to the inferior epigastric artery. So this is the position of the deep inguinal ring. It lies lateral to the inferior epigastric artery. Now, what is the deep inguinal ring? The deep inguinal ring is an aperture in the fascia transversalis. It is half an inch above mid-inguinal point. What is mid-inguinal point? The mid-inguinal point, you can see here anterior superior iliac spine. This is the anterior superior iliac spine, and this is the pubic tubercle. This point is the pubic tubercle, and this is the pubic symphysis. So there is a difference between the midpoint and mid-inguinal point. The midpoint is midpoint of the inguinal ligament. This is the anterior superior iliac spine, and this is the pubic tubercle, and this is the attachment of the inguinal ligament. So this point is the midpoint of the inguinal ligament. Now the mid-inguinal point. The mid-inguinal point from anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic symphysis. And this point is the mid-inguinal point. So the location of deep inguinal ring is the mid-inguinal point, the point between the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic symphysis. And it is 1.2 centimeter above the mid-inguinal point, immediately lateral to the inferior epigastric artery. And it is opening in the fascia transversalis. Now the superficial inguinal ring. The superficial inguinal ring, triangular in shape, in the external oblique aponeurosis. So deep inguinal ring is the weakness in the posterior abdominal wall. Superficial inguinal ring is the weak point in the anterior abdominal wall. So it is a deficiency in the external oblique aponeurosis. It is shaped like an obtuse angle triangle. The base of triangle formed by pubic crest, and there is a two crusts, lateral and medial margin. They are termed as crura. At the base 1.2 centimeter broad and length is 2.5 centimeter in length. And these two crura unite together by the intercrural crush. And you can see in this diagram there is a medial crus and there is a lateral crus, and this is the intercrural fibers. So this is the interlacing fibers of the medial crus and lateral crus. The lateral crus is attached at the pubic tubercle and medial crus attached at the pubic crest. And this lateral crus is more stronger than the medial crus because spermatic cord lies above this lateral crus. So this is the superficial inguinal ring. You can see here, and this is the aponeurosis of external oblique muscle. And this preventive factor of the deficiency in the external oblique aponeurosis by the conjoint tendon and the reflected part of the inguinal ligament. What is conjoint tendon? This is the conjoint tendon. It is formed by lowest fibers of the transversus abdominis and internal oblique muscle. And this conjoint tendon attached at the pubic crest and the medial margin of the pecten pubis. So this conjoint tendon lies behind the superficial inguinal ring. Above the conjoint tendon, there is a reflected part of the inguinal ligament. And this reflected part of the inguinal ligament is the extension of the inguinal ligament. This is the extension of the inguinal ligament. The fibers pass from upward and medially. Inguinal ligament से fibers कैसे pass हो रहे हैं? Upward and medially reaches up to the linea alba. And from the opposite side also there is the fibers of the reflected part of the inguinal ligament, and they meets at the linea alba. So behind the superficial inguinal ring there is a two things here: reflected part of the inguinal ligament and conjoint tendon. So it prevents this weak point in the aponeurosis of external oblique. Now you can imagine the inguinal canal as a box. You can see here in this box there is a four surfaces: anterior wall, roof, posterior wall, and floor. So this is the right side inguinal canal view from the front. Both anterior posterior wall you can see here, and this arrow indicate the structure can run from it lateral to medial side. In the male it transmits the spermatic cord, in female round ligament of the uterus. So in the posterior wall there is a weak point, deep inguinal ring. So this is the opening in the fascia transversalis in the posterior wall. This is the posterior wall. ठीक है? And this is the floor. So deep inguinal ring situated laterally, and this is the floor you can see here after removing the roof and anterior wall. And you can see it is also box-like presentation. Here the anterior wall. In the anterior wall there is a presence of the superficial inguinal ring. So structure passing from this posterior aspect, there is a deep inguinal ring. Anteriorly there is a weak point, superficial inguinal ring. So structure entering from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring from this canal. Now in this region you can see the green color. This is the green color structure, spermatic cord. It passes from the whole abdominal layers. अपन front से चलेंगे जैसे skin, superficial fascia, then the aponeurosis of the external oblique. This is the external oblique muscles. Three muscles यहाँ दिख रही है: external oblique, internal oblique, and transversus abdominis. And this one is the fascia transversalis. And yellowish color का जो structure आपको दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, this is the peritoneal tissue, fat, and this is the peritoneum. So you can see here from this region, fascia transversalis, there is a deep inguinal ring situated here, and this is the superficial inguinal ring. This is the superficial inguinal ring from which this spermatic cord comes out. So layers present in this region, there is a external oblique, internal oblique, this is the internal oblique, and this is the transversus abdominis. And you can see here there is a fusion between the both internal oblique and the transversus abdominis, and fusion of the lowest fibers of these that form the conjoint tendon. Now you can see one by one boundaries anteriorly. This is the external oblique, internal oblique. So anterior boundary is formed by skin, superficial fascia, and aponeurosis of external oblique, and in its lateral one-third by the muscular fiber of the internal oblique. And this internal oblique fibers reinforce the opening of the deep inguinal ring, opposite the weakest part of the deep inguinal ring. So this is the anterior boundary. Next is posterior boundary. In the from posteriorly, this is the number 5. From the number 5, peritoneum, most posteriorly, peritoneum and extraperitoneal connective tissue, 4th, and number 3, this is the fascia transversalis. Here the fascia transversalis. Then this is the posterior wall. तो posterior wall में क्या क्या आया? Peritoneum, number 5, number 4, this is the extraperitoneal tissue, and number 3, this is the fascia transversalis. And medially, you can see here there is a fusion between the transversus abdominis and the internal oblique. You can see here this is the fusion point and this is the conjoint tendon. This is the conjoint tendon formed by the fusion of the lowest fibers and reflected part of the inguinal ligament. This is the superficial inguinal ring, and behind this is reflected part of the inguinal ligament, and posterior to this there is a conjoint tendon. So this is about the posterior wall. Now the roof and floor. The roof is formed by arching fibers of the internal oblique and transversus abdominis. This is the transversus abdominis fiber, internal oblique muscle. This form the roof, and floor is formed by the inguinal ligament. Inguinal ligament attached from anterior superior leg spine to the pubic tubercle, and this is the concave surface, concave part of the inguinal ligament which form the floor, but medially it is supported by the lacunar ligament. What is lacunar ligament? Lacunar ligament also extension of the inguinal ligament. You can see in the next diagram, in the inguinal ligament diagram, this is the pecten pubis, this is the pecten pubis, and this is the inguinal ligament. So medially there is a extension of the inguinal ligament which form the lacunar ligament. So this floor is formed by the concave surface of the inguinal ligament and the lacunar ligament medially. And this is the summary of the inguinal canal. In this summary, you can see here there is a 3 layers. This is the comparative diagram. जो पहले से आपको anterior posterior boundary में बताया उसका comparison इस color diagram से अपन कर रहे हैं. तो ये जो green color का आपको show हो रहा है, this is the aponeurosis of external oblique. The next two muscles, this is the internal oblique and this is the transversus abdominis. So this is the internal oblique and this is the transversus abdominis. Next is this is the deep inguinal ring. So this is the fascia transversalis. And inside this there is a peritoneal tissue, extraperitoneal tissue, and the peritoneum. And you can see here this blue color structure along with the internal oblique. This is the bluish color and that form the conjoint tendon. जो pinkish आपको दिख रहा है, that is the conjoint tendon fusion by these two aponeurosis. In this diagram you can see here, this is the conjoint tendon. And अगर आपको यहीं से रूफ देखना है तो there is a arching fibers of the transversus abdominis and internal oblique above the spermatic cord. And this is the superficial inguinal ring. So you can see here the color along with the spermatic cord. तो जो ग्रीन कलर का पार्ट आ रहा है ये वाला, ये किसका एक्सटेंशन आ रहा है? एपोन्यूरोसिस ऑफ एक्सटर्नल ऑब्लिक. तो इसने बना दिया एक्सटर्नल स्पर्मेटिक फेशिया. एंड दिस मिडल पार्ट, द कलर मैच विद द fascia transversalis. This is the internal spermatic fascia. और जो मसल फाइबर्स के साथ में ये मैच कर रहा है इंटरनल ऑब्लिक, दैट इज द cremasteric fascia, continuation of the this internal oblique. So this is the, you can see in this diagram along with the descent of testes, there is a abdominal layer also descend along with the testes. From outermost there is a skin superficial fascia में, this is the dartos muscles, and from the outer side there is the external spermatic fascia. On the inner aspect there is a cremasteric fascia. This is the cremasteric fascia, and this bluish layer showing the internal spermatic fascia. And these layers extend from this internal spermatic fascia, extend from the deep inguinal ring. This spermatic fascia, continuation of the fascia transversalis, and extend from the deep inguinal ring. And this external spermatic fascia continue from the superficial inguinal ring. And you can see here, this is the groove formed by the inguinal ligament. This is the floor and this is the roof, internal oblique and transversus abdominis. In this diagram, I try to showing the extension of the inguinal ligament, reflected part of the inguinal ligament, and the lacunar ligament. And this triangular lacunar ligament which form the medial boundary of the femoral ring. Now the content of the inguinal canal. The inguinal canal contains spermatic cord in the male and round ligament of uterus in female, and ilioinguinal nerve both in male and female. So in this diagram, this is the showing the round ligament of the uterus. Along with this, there is a genital branch of genitofemoral. Now the structures of the spermatic cord. कंटेंट को अपन कैसे डिस्क्राइब करते हैं? नॉर्मली जो इसको याद करते हैं अपन there is a formula 3-3-3. The spermatic cord covered by the 3 layer, and it contains 3 nerves, and it contains 3 arteries and 3 other structures. So there is a formula of the 3-3-3 to remember the things. There is the main content is the vas deferens and lymph vessels and processus vaginalis, vas deferens and testicular lymph vessels, and 3 arteries are there. What is the 3 arteries? There is a testicular artery, cremasteric artery, and artery to the ductus deferens. There is a 3 artery and 3 nerves. There is a genital branch of the genitofemoral, ilioinguinal nerve, and autonomic nerves also. And 3 coverings already discussed previously. So you can see in this diagram, you can draw in the content of the spermatic cord. There is a pampaniform plexus around the testicular artery, sympathetic nerve, and you can see here this is the ilioinguinal nerve outside the spermatic cord. This ilioinguinal nerve, पहले अपन ये एक बार कवरिंग इसकी बता देते हैं. एक्सटर्नल स्पर्मेटिक फेशिया आउटसाइड, क्रेमेस्टिक फेशिया and internal spermatic fascia, and 3 nerves: genital branch of the genitofemoral, sympathetic nerve, and the ilioinguinal nerve. Arteries already discussed: testicular artery, artery to the ductus deferens, and cremasteric artery. You can see here there is a 2 nerves showing. There is a genital branch of genitofemoral nerve runs along with the spermatic cord, enter into the deep inguinal ring. But this ilioinguinal nerve enter along with the enter between the external oblique and the internal oblique. ये कैसे एंटर हो रही है? ये डीप इंग्वाइनल रिंग से नहीं आ रही है. इट रन्स बिटवीन द external oblique and internal oblique muscle and enter into the inguinal canal and comes out from the superficial inguinal ring and supply this region. Mechanism of inguinal canal. The presence of the inguinal canal is the cause of the weakness in the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall. This weakness is compensated by the following factor. Number 1. Except in newborn infant, canal is an oblique passage with the weakest area that are superficial and deep inguinal ring. Therefore, when intra-abdominal pressure rises, the anterior and posterior wall of the canal approximated and thus obliterate the passage. This is called flap wall mechanism. न्यूबॉर्न इन्फेंट में क्या होता है? सुपरफिशियल एंड डीप इंग्वाइनल रिंग लाइज अपोजिट टू ईच अदर, बट जैसे जैसे ग्रोथ होती है canal become as a oblique passage and that do not lie to opposite to each other. Guarding of the superficial and deep inguinal ring. Superficial inguinal ring के पीछे किसकी गार्डिंग होती है? Conjoint tendon, and in front this there is a reflected part of the inguinal ligament. And deep inguinal ring guarded by internal oblique muscle fibers from the front side. Then the shutter mechanism. जो इंटरनल ऑब्लिक मसल है वो ट्रिपल रिलेशन में है इंग्वाइनल कैनाल के. इट फॉर्म द एंटीरियर वॉल, नंबर 2 रूफ एंड पोस्टीरियर वॉल of the canal. When it contract, the roof is approximated to floor like a shutter. slit wall mechanism, contraction of the external oblique result in approximation of the two crura of superficial inguinal ring, because superficial inguinal ring is formed by the aponeurosis of external oblique. The wall-wall mechanism, contraction of the cremaster muscle helps the spermatic cord to plug the superficial inguinal ring. And the last is hormones. Hernia. Hernia is a protrusion of the part of the abdominal content beyond the normal confine of the abdominal wall. It consists three parts: sac, content of sac, covering of the sac. Hernial covering form from layers of the abdominal wall through which hernial sac passes. Sac of hernia. You can see here neck, intestinal root in the content, and covering of the hernia and sac of hernia. And this covering of the hernia formed by abdominal wall. And you can see here Hazelback triangle on the posterior wall. On the posterior aspect, there is a Hazelback triangle. And this is the deep inguinal ring. So hernia occur may be direct or may be indirect. The direct hernia occur through the Hazelback triangle, and indirect hernia occur through the deep inguinal ring, enter into the inguinal canal, then comes out from the superficial inguinal ring. And this direct hernia from the posterior wall to the superficial inguinal ring. So there is a two type of hernia: inguinal hernia, protrusion of the loop of the intestine through the inguinal wall and inguinal canal, and called the inguinal hernia. It may be direct or it may be indirect hernia. The inguinal hernia usually present as a swelling in the inguinal region. The swelling increase in size on cuffing, and it is possible to reduce the hernia manually by pushing it upward, or hernia swelling may appear automatically in supine position. Supine position में होगी तो जो swelling है वो disappear हो जाएगी और manually इसको reduce भी कर सकते हैं. Now the indirect hernia. The indirect oblique hernia. It is a more common in children and younger age boy, and predisposing congenital factor for this type of hernia is complete or partial patency of processus vaginalis. The hernia enters the inguinal canal via the deep inguinal ring, then passes through the entire inguinal canal and comes out through the superficial inguinal ring. It is inside the covering of the spermatic cord, hence enter into the scrotum, and this herniated sac lies lateral to the inferior epigastric artery. So you can see here indirect inguinal hernia. This is the intestinal loop of the intestine, enter into the deep inguinal ring, to the superficial inguinal ring, and this is the herniated sac. So this is the course of the indirect hernia. It runs throughout the inguinal canal. The covering of the indirect hernia is the same. जो स्पर्मेटिक कॉर्ड की कवरिंग आ रही थी, एक्स्ट्रा पेरिटोनियल टिश्यू, इंटरनल स्पर्मेटिक फेशिया, cremasteric fascia, external spermatic fascia, and skin. These are the covering of the indirect hernia. Now the types of the indirect hernia. The first is a complete vaginal hernia. The complete vaginal hernia, this processus vaginalis is fully patent. So it reaches up to the scrotum, enter into the whole length of the inguinal canal and reaches up to the scrotum. The second is a congenital funicular. Processus vaginalis is patent, but no communication with the tunica vaginalis. The third is bubonocele. The processus vaginalis present in the inguinal canal, only up to the inguinal canal. Now the direct inguinal hernia. The direct inguinal hernia is more common in old age. The predisposing factor in old age is weakness of the abdominal muscles. There are various factors responsible for the weakening of the anterior abdominal muscles: rise in intra-abdominal pressure, chronic constipation, chronic cough, and lifting heavy weight, also predisposing factor of the direct hernia. So you can see this hernia lies medial to the inferior epigastric vessels. It passes through the Hazelback triangle. Now the Hazelback triangle boundaries. This Hazelback triangle bounded medially by the lateral border of the, this is the lateral border of the rectus abdominis. Below there is a inguinal ligament, and on the laterally there is a inferior epigastric vessels. So this is the Hazelback triangle in the posterior wall. So hernia can enter from the posterior wall and comes out from the superficial inguinal ring. It lies outside the spermatic cord, the neck of the herniated sac medial to the inferior epigastric vessels. Medial to the inferior epigastric vessels. In the direct inguinal hernia, again there is a medial direct inguinal hernia and lateral direct inguinal hernia. So you can see here this is the medial ligament. This is the medial ligament formed by the obliterated umbilical artery, and this is the inferior epigastric vessels from the lateral ligament. So we divide this Hazelback triangle into two. This obliterated umbilical ligament divide it. This is the lateral direct hernia and this is the medial direct hernia. Medial to the obliterated umbilical artery medial and lateral to this there is a lateral direct hernia. This is the lateral डायरेक्ट इंग्वानल हर्निया. तो दोनों की जैसे अपन कवरिंग से याद करते हैं तो उसमें क्या डिफरेंस होता है? डीप टू सुपरफिशियल, एक्स्ट्रा पेरिटोनियल टिश्यू, फेशिया ट्रांसवर्सलिस, क्रेमेस्ट्रिक फेशिया, एक्सटर्नल स्पर्मेटिक फेशिया एंड स्किन. और जो मीडियल डायरेक्ट हर्निया है उसमें इंस्टेड ऑफ द क्रेमेस्ट्रिक फेशिया देयर इज अ कंजॉइंट टेंडन. In the medial direct hernia, there is a conjoint tendon. In the lateral direct hernia, there is a cremasteric fascia. So that is difference between the medial direct hernia and the lateral direct hernia. What is the difference between the direct and indirect inguinal hernia? The direct and indirect hernia, the etiology is different. Direct inguinal hernia occur in the old age or by the chronic diseases. Indirect hernia occur by the performed sac, and this direct hernia comes out on standing, does not comes out. Or direction of the sac, it comes out through the Hazelback triangle, it comes out from the deep inguinal ring. The ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन इसमें कॉमन नहीं है. डायरेक्ट इन्ग्वाइनल हर्निया नॉट कॉमन बिकॉज नेक जो होती है इसकी वाइड होती है, और इसमें जो है ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन कॉमन होता है बिकॉज नेक इज नैरो. इंटरनल रिंग टेस्ट, जो रिंग ऑक्लूजन टेस्ट करते हैं वो क्या है कि आपने डीप इन्ग्वाइनल रिंग पे प्रेस कर दिया रिड्यूस करने के बाद में, फिर पेशेंट को खड़ा होने के लिए बोला. तो जो डायरेक्ट हर्निया अगर होगा तो सुपरफिशियल इन्ग्वाइनल रिंग से क्या होगा, हर्निया बाहर आ जाएगा तो स्वेलिंग इज सीन, एंड इनडायरेक्ट इन्ग्वाइनल हर्निया नॉट सीन. तो दैट इज द डिफरेंस बाय द occlusion test in the direct and indirect inguinal hernia. And what is the difference between the femoral and inguinal hernia? The relation of the hernia to the pubic tubercle differentiate inguinal to the femoral hernia. The inguinal hernia lies above the pubic tubercle and femoral hernia lies below and lateral to the pubic tubercle. So you can see here the sac of the inguinal hernia and the sac of the femoral hernia, and this is the pubic tubercle. Thank you.